Hello Andres, welcome to Let's Fix Computers. I've got a MacBook Air here that is still wet from a liquid spill that happened a matter of hours ago. I'm having a quick look because sometimes acting fast can really make a difference when it comes to liquid spills. And on this instance I actually have an opportunity to act fast because this didn't happen yesterday kind of thing. The reason why I've started up this video for the time being is because I've just opened this thing up to find that it's full of rice. So obviously the customer has tried the old rice trick with this. So I thought I'd just quickly talk to you guys about the rice trick and what it's all about. Now firstly, does the rice trick work? Well, maybe is the answer to that. There's no sure things when it comes to liquid damage. It's more or less luck of the draw in my experience. See, what happens is the liquid itself doesn't do any damage. It will conduct electricity while it's there, but once the device has dried out, the liquid is gone and no longer conducting electricity and thus no longer causing a problem. The long-term issue stems from the fact that as the liquid dries out, or as if the computer is running while the liquid is there, you'll get rapid oxidization and electrolysis on the power lines, which causes corrosion and crud and sort of chalky deposits to appear. It's kind of like rusting very quickly, except it's not rust because that's iron oxide. So, what if this sort of corrosion and rust is going to appear? Surely you would say that the rice is not going to do anything. Well, maybe. The theory is that if the rice can absorb the liquid and dry the device out fast enough before that oxidization and corrosion occurs, then it will save the device. That's the idea. The idea is to dry it out as quickly as possible without causing any damage. So again, quite frankly, it's luck of the draw whether it works or not, and I would wager that rice probably doesn't make a whole lot of difference in the majority of cases. But it's incredibly difficult to get a quantifiable and objective answer as to if that's the case or not. Certainly it's hard to do without breaking a whole lot of items to find out. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this apart and systematically dry it out, and with a bit of luck we can do all of that before any damage actually occurs. One thing I have already done is disconnect the battery. An instant casualty of liquid damage is often the battery, because if you get a short circuit across the terminals of the battery, you'll get very rapid power cycling across the terminals and the battery will just burn itself out. So despite everything that happens, the battery can be killed instantly by liquid damage. So yeah, whether that's the case or not, we won't know. But yeah, I'm going to take this apart. Let's see how far we get. Okay, let's start by getting the battery out of this, because there's a lot of liquid around there. And that will immediately give us some space to start drying out some of these puddles. I'm going to grab a cloth and some tissue just so I can start drying this out. Okay. Now what we don't want to do is try and rub any of the moisture into the laptop. The worst thing that can happen here is that the moisture or liquid gets underneath components, because once it's under components we can't get to it to dry it out or clear any corrosion that forms. So anything that I'm doing with tissue, I'm just patting dry is the objective. We're just trying to soak up the moisture. We're not trying to rub it clean or anything like that. We're just absorbing. Get this rice out the way. Okay, I'm going to take out the SSD and have a good look at that, because obviously we want to try and preserve data here. It's not looking too bad, to be honest. Oops, I've still got rice in my toothbrush. Now, you'll be able to see that slight shininess around the components. That's normal. It's not necessarily liquid damage. I see that on all of these things. I think it's some kind of like seal that they apply to it in the factory. Maybe even some kind of like liquid resistance seal or something like that, or just It's some kind of coating they put on it, but it's not liquid, so don't worry about that. It's actually dry to the touch. So this fella's probably going to be okay. So now I'm just moving around the laptop. I'm just looking for any obvious watermarks. Again, these shiny areas that we're seeing in some areas, that's not liquid, that's again just an electronic sealant. I don't know precisely what it is, but it's the way that they treat soldered joints to help prevent dry joints and that kind of thing. That area is damp, that's actual dampness. This rice has been more of a hindrance because I've just got to clear it out. Right, let's that needs cleaning up a bit. I'm going to use just a little bit of glass cleaner just to clean off any residue that's forming there. Okay. Right, this is looking a lot cleaner than it was now. I could do with removing the logic board to see if there's anything under there. I think I'm going to do that just because sod's law says if I don't remove it, I wish I had. Again? Right, okay, let's just disconnect all the other bits then, and we can just lift the logic board out and just do a quick inspection of the underneath, make sure there's no liquid trapped under there, because that's what will catch you out. It looks dry now, but we could find that there's just another puddle between the keyboard and the logic board. Yeah, see, we've got puddles here. This standing liquid, that's the stuff that could take days or even weeks to dry out on its own, and that will just sit and corrode away if left unchecked. As I mentioned at the start of this video, the rice will help dry that out faster, but whether it makes a meaningful difference or not is debatable, because it could still take a very long time to weed it out from those tiny little gaps, because there's no airflow in there, you see, so it's just not going to dry out on its own. All the rice is doing is creating a low humidity environment to encourage the liquid to evaporate as fast as possible, but it doesn't actively dry anything out. All dry under there. It very much was a glancing blow, but so it hasn't really penetrated into the laptop. So we've got, I quite fancy our chances of success here. Oh, there we go. Worth doing. So again, I'm just going to pat this logic board dry. Now, let's move that out the way, and we'll just give that a quick clean up again with the toothbrush and some glass cleaner. And just a reminder, what the glass cleaner is doing is it's a degreaser, because in this instance we've got tea that has been spilt on this. So that tea had milk in it, so that is all going to leave sort of fatty and sticky deposits behind, which is what causes the liquid to cling and not evaporate away quickly. So this glass cleaner, being vinegar based, is a degreaser and will evaporate quickly. So it's just going to dilute and clean that down to encourage to leave a cleaner finish behind. So we'll just give that a brush down, and now just to speed up the drying, I'm just going to run over that with a paintbrush, and we're left with a nice clean finish there. Still slightly darkened where it's still a little bit damp, but the very worst of that is all gone now. And on the other side we're looking okay as well. Okay, right, I think we've got the worst of that all out. I'm just going to quickly go around those edges there just in case, because this is all the power system around here. That's where this is really vulnerable, this area, because there's a lot of high current, which is going to suffer the most. There we go. Right, I think we've given it its best chance. So let's put this back together and see if it starts. Okay, we're looking good. Now the battery, just give that another wipe down. I'm just using a slightly damp cloth here, which is perfectly fine because I'm not putting water across the contacts or anything. I'm just wiping the residue off of the plastic surface, and then we'll dry that off with a dry cloth. Hopefully this fella has survived. We'll soon find out. Okay. Whoop. Okay, we've got a green power light but no charge light. Not a great sign. Aha! We've got a chime and we got power. Let's let that start up and we'll see what it does. Okay, this is attempt 2. I forgot to plug in the mouse and keyboard. And now I've done so, interestingly, we now have a charge light. So let's try that again. It's a little bit slow to respond because where I'm disconnecting the battery, that's resetting system management and stuff like that. So let's see how we do this time. Okay, so the laptop has started up and I've got mouse and I've got keyboard. Although there's a funny few weird things that are happening, but it's hard to tell because I don't have the password for this right now. So I need to call the client, find out their password so I can investigate it a bit further without having to reset anything. One thing I have noticed though is we have got an exclamation point on the battery symbol, which means the battery is almost certainly goosed. On closer inspection, that's probably going to be reporting battery failure. So it looks like we're going to need a new battery in this, but the fact that we've actually managed to start up and boot into macOS, and it's doing so in a timely fashion as well, it's starting up as quick as it should, and it seems to be responding just fine, I think it's going to be okay. So we'll get a new battery, but past that, I think we have saved the laptop. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye for now.